is your man, Coach Asher, who makes you faster, and today I'm honored. I'm with my man right here, one of the best coaches in the country, one of the best teachers, okay? He teaches for USA Track and Field, level 1, level 2 class. He's been on more national teams than me, really involved with USA Track and Field, and just one of the most tremendous teachers in the business when we talk about sprinting and mechanics, Tony Veney. So Tony, just what I like to talk about, a lot of our videos, we go from beginner to advanced, but what are some of the things you do when just starting with your sprinters were at Ventura College, new sprinters? What would you do?
That's a good question, Chris. What we really like to do is just start them from the very basics. We have a very specific warm-up that incorporates drills that shows me if there are any weaknesses, if there are technical flaws. We do a lot of skipping, a lot of hopping, a lot of stretching, a lot of explosive work, because that's what sprinting is basically, is plyometric and consistent cyclical sprinting and power down the track. So really with young sprinters, we really try to incorporate the warm-up, because then what it does is it really helps in the preparation for the actual workout for the day.
Yep. So just, you know, in a nutshell, tell people your philosophy, Tony, a little bit about yourself. I mean, I can go on all day about this guy. He was my coach. I was lucky to be with him. I was nothing but a little walk-on bum, and this guy worked with me, and I've learned most of my philosophy of coaching. A lot of it comes from this man right here. So when you hear me talk about doing things in drills, a lot of it is things I've learned from him and kind of created my own philosophy with it. But
well, I think that's what all good coaches have to be able to do. My philosophy is bits and pieces of things that I've taken from my mentors, and I've hoped that in the years that I've worked with Chris and we've talked about things and he's become his own coach, basically understanding the basic philosophy and fundamentals of how to get fast, and then you just bridge it out and understanding your audience. I noticed that when I watch Chris's workouts, everybody doesn't do exactly the same thing. Athletes of different height, different strength levels, different ages, the time that they've been in the sport. Sometimes an 11-year-old may have been running for 3 years. You might find a 15 or 16 or 17-year-old who's in their first year of track. And what I found is that you have to be able to figure out, okay, what's that kid's training age? What is their experience within the sport itself? Do they bring power or strength or speed from another sport? Have they played basketball? Mm-hmm. Have they played football? Have they been a soccer player? Sometimes an athlete that's never run track before but has been an athlete in another sport doesn't need very much coaching because they already come in powerful and fast and aggressive. So really the basic philosophy is find out what you have to work with and then work from there. I don't really have a system, and I know when watching Chris, it's not as much a system, it's a philosophy. Mm-hmm. You know, take what you have and then work around it. But if you have a system, it's really rigid, and I just speaking out to coaches out there that have systems that they've been doing for year after year after year. If you've been coaching 20 years, but you've been doing 20 years, 1 year, every year for 20 years, that's not coaching. You need to get better every year. You need to be able to take a look at your previous year and say, I can't do that next year. It's not functional, it didn't work. And then move on to something else. I still read, I know Chris reads, we're both voracious readers, we're always looking for stuff, and we might see something that's really interesting and go, nah, that's not gonna fit what I do. Don't just copy what coaches are doing. Don't just take a workout that somebody has done that has a great Olympian or something like that. And what you need to do is you need to figure out how does what I believe fit the young people that I work with. There are things that great coaches are doing right now that are producing tremendous Olympic level world record results. But I can't take that and put that into a community college kid who's coming out and running track for the first time. I got to be able to start that kid from number one. Can he skip? Can he hop on one leg? Can he do a straight leg bound? Can he accelerate without losing his body positions? And this is one of the reasons why I respect what Chris has done, because he's working with the babies, he's worked with Paralympic young people, he's worked on every level. And when you work on every level, it forces you to be a better coach. It forces you to figure out, all right, I'm looking at that kid, how can I make that kid better? And when I make that kid better, I'm not going to use the same thing to make that kid better. That's what coaching is about. And all too often coaches are looking for a shortcut. They just want kids to run fast, but we want to develop them.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Hey,
all right.
And Asher will make you faster.
You know, hey, besides me, this guy, number one right here, Tony Veney.
And the check's in the mail.